Welcome to week 4 of our Rebound series, Coming Back Together. Week 1, we talked about prayer. Week 2, we talked about planning intentionally. And this past week, proceed confidently. But wouldn't you know it, when you're proceeding confidently, you're prepped up, you're prayed up, opposition comes. We see that here in Nehemiah chapter 4. But we can't run from opposition. We've learned from Rome. Rome was a very strong nation. Rome ruled the world at some point. As you look at Rome, as long as there were enemies trying to get at them, to fight them, Rome remained strong. But once they had conquered their enemies and they settled into comfortability, we see that that's when the fall started. That's when the fall began, when there was no longer opposition, because opposition kept Rome strong. Opposition actually causes us to unite, to focus correctly. That's what we're seeing here in Nehemiah chapter 4. They've started the wall. They're working. It's going great. But then the enemies came. And the enemies said, we don't want this to happen. We liked when you Jews had no walls so we could ridicule you. We loved it when you were down. But now that you are starting to build again, we don't like it. So we're going to get in. We're going to keep ridiculing you. And we're going to conspire with other people outside of the walls of Jerusalem to come against you, to threaten you. But then we see great leadership in Nehemiah. And I want to hone in on chapter 4, verse 14, because I love this encouragement from Nehemiah. He said, after I looked things over, he saw the disparity. He looked it over and saw people wanting to quit on the wall because of this opposition that was coming. So after he looked things over, he stood up, said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome. Remember that God who's delivered us. And fight. You see, the best way to protect externally is to fight internally. So fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives, and your homes. I love that word fight. Why? Because fight is intentional. You're fighting to protect against something. See, here in today, we might not be fighting because there's a physical violence against us, but we are actually fighting a common foe. You see, Jesus unites us. The mission of the church unites us, as we've talked about in this series, but there's something else that unites us, this common foe that we have. 1 Peter 5:8 says, be alert and sober-minded. Your enemy, see that, your enemy, our enemy, the church's enemy, the Christian's enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. You see, church, we need to rise up against the devil's schemes. But there's another interesting truth in opposition, and it's this. Satan will not bother half-hearted people who are content with a mediocre spiritual existence. When you're doing something great for God, when you're about to do something great for God, and people are going to get saved because of the things that you're doing, Satan hates that. And so he's going to throw opposition to you. He's going to throw depressing moments at you. He's going to throw cancer diagnosis at you. He's going to throw death of a loved one at you. Why? To discourage you from you stopping the work. But that's why it's so important to band together. See, Satan in that passage goes after someone to devour. Lions look for those people who are off by themselves, those prey that got separated from the pack. And that's the ones that the lions devour and look for. But when we're united, we are stronger. And so we need to be united in Jesus, but we also need to be united in the fact and the thinking that Satan wants to destroy us. Just like the people in Nehemiah's day wanted to destroy what was happening to the wall. They were doing a good work. They were carrying out God's vision, and they hated it. They were jealous. Well, Satan hates God. And because Satan hates God and you love God, Satan hates you and wants to get at you, but you can't let it happen. You can't give into addiction. You can't give into depression. You can't let that defeat you. Lean into opposition. Learn why God might be allowing this opposition in your life. But know you also have a great church family, and you need to be part of a church family. You need to gather together with a church family, because we know that we are stronger together so that we can defeat this common goal. God bless you. God go with you this week. And remember to go knowing that the best way to protect from external opposition is to fight internally. Fight for our families, fight for ourselves, for eternity's sake. God bless you.